Guys, check this out. 96 Honda Civic 1.6 overheating problem, and we find a problem right there. This is a rad job, so let's get started. Alright guys, we got another one right here. 96 Honda Civics EJ. This is a 1.6 engine. Just came in, so there's no heat coming out of the cab. It's blowing cold air, and the owner of the vehicle, he said that low on coolant, so they add coolant in. Well, obviously they did, and then you can see that they add a little bit of coolant right here too. And they drove it about a week and it's still running cold air on the vent. There's no heat coming out, so now it's in my garage. Let's take a look and let's diagnose. All right, so the first thing you do is just gather all the information from the owner of the vehicle. Ask him question like, is it leaking from the outside of the engine? Is it leaking from the hose? Do you see anything underneath the vehicle? Any coolant on the floor? And he said, no, there's no coolant on the floor. So question him again, is it white smoke coming out on the exhaust the first morning startup? And he said, yeah, there's white smoke, but you know, that's normal for a vehicle up here in Canada. We got white smoke in the first startup because of the condensation in the exhaust pipe. About 5 minutes, 10 minutes driving, it should be disappearing all the white smoke, but he can't remember. So first thing I do is check out the rad cap here. Take out the rad cap. Make sure you don't open this up when it's hot. So it's been sitting here for an hour now, so we get a little bit of coolant right there. Right, the next step is just look around, upper lower rad hose or anything like that. Maybe it's cracked. Squeeze them here, nothing. The lower rad hose right there, nothing. Check the back, but obviously he said there's no leak, external leak. So first thing on my mind is maybe a blown head gasket, because I had a 1.8 Civic before with a blown head gasket that's leaking inside. But in this case, every vehicle is different, same symptom but different procedure and different repairs. So you know, it could be who knows what. But first, what I'm going to do is going to put a coolant in here, fill this up, and then we'll pressurize the whole system, and we'll see what kind of leak we'll get. All right, so let's put some coolant in, fill it up, and then we'll put the hand pump is next. All right, I got this pressure pump right here. Hand pump is made by Civic. Get the right connector. All right, we'll pump it up. All right, here we go. All right, I can see already the problem. Look at that. It's leaking from the rad. So, found the problem quick. That's it. We're gonna replace the rad. We'll let the guy know that we need to take this out, get a new one in, bleed the air out, and away you go. Alright, first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna drain the coolant out. There's drain spouts down there underneath the rad. We'll drain the coolant out. And after that, we'll take out the upper lower rad hose, take this reservoir out, take the bolts for this upper mounts, and then you can see there's two lines from the transmission going to the rad. So that's a cooler line. It cools the ATF fluid through the rad. So we're gonna be leaking transmission fluid here right after when we take out this rad out. So make sure catch all those oil and fill it up right after. So let's get started. All right, so there's a spout right there. That's the one that we're gonna turn it, and then coolant will drain. So we're just gonna do that, wait for a couple minutes till the coolant is out of the rad, and then we'll start disassemble everything. All right, so everything up on the front here, on the top, are off. So we're going to be working on the bottom of the rad now. Two options here to take out that lower rad hose clamp right on the back right there, or those two transmission cooler line. You could take it out from the top here, or you can go underneath from the bottom. That is going to be all leaky fluid. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take out from the top here. I'm going to lift this up, make more room. I can see the clamp right there. that's out. And then this side right here, the transmission cooler line, there's a clamp right there where the hose to steel line meets. Take out that clamp. Same thing on the other side. Take out that clamp, plug the hole so that it won't leak fluid, and that's how I do it from the top. Alright guys, so I end up taking out the bolts from the cooler fan right here. 2 bolts, 10 mil, and then 2 bolts underneath, 10 mil as well, so that we have lots of room working on the bottom here. Right there, 2 bolts and 2 bolts right there, okay? 10 mil. Alright, so we're gonna use the clamp wires and then take out all those clamps right there. Alright guys, there we go. Look at this. We're gonna take this out, put it on a brand new one, new rad. The whole thing will be garbage. Leak from here. Alright, so here's the new one. Make sure to compare the new one to the old one. Okay, this is the front. There's the back. Lower rad hose right here. Upper rad hose right there. And then the transmission cooler line goes in there. And here's all the hardware for the transmission cooler lines, and then the mounts. Alright guys, so we got the brand new rad right there, prepping it. We're gonna prep everything down so that we could install this rad fan right here. So you can see I get the 2 fittings already for the transmission cooler line installed, brand new. There's a nut, brand new nuts right there for the bolt to go in for this rad fan, and we're just gonna use the original bolts because the one that came with the kit is too long. So it's gonna put the one on the top, and then same thing on the other side on the top, and then we're gonna tighten up the 2 in the bottom right there. All right, there we go. This is ready to go. It's all in one piece. Okay, let's put the hose right here for this transmission cooler lines. Alright guys, make sure don't forget to put the rubber mounts on each side right here. This is the old one from the old rad. Make sure to put it on the new one, and let's start putting this lower rad hose now. Alright, so it's all in there. The rubber mounts line up to the mounting bracket in the bottom. Same thing on the other side, the rubber mounts. And then now let's install the transmission cooler line. And everything down here is good. We don't have to touch anything down here for the transmission cooler line. Then we'll move the clip back in there, lock everything down. Alright guys, here we go. Bottom of this rad is good, installed. Now we're working on the upper rad. Put the clamp back in there. Connector right here for the rad fan. Then reservoir is next. Then we'll put the bolt and then the upper mounts. All right, let's fill her up with the coolant, and then we'll take a look, see if there's leaking. So let's put this old one back in there. We fill up the rad with this coolant right here, 50/50, green color. It's full. We're gonna test it out again. This is where we at from the beginning. And now when we put a brand new rad, let's test it out. Lock that thing in place. And at this time, it should hold the pressure when we pump this up. This is gonna be on 15 PSI. All right, so that's hold pressure. We're just gonna take a look here. It's about on the 13, on the number 1, on the 13. So just gonna wait for maybe a couple minutes. Let's see if that needle go down. If that needle go down, we know that there's a leak somewhere. By the look of it, it looks like it's holding pretty good. No leak. You can see there's a CB boot is ripped right there. I'll let the guy know. Maybe on this side as well. Check that out. Sway bar link CB boot, and you can see the valve cover is leaking as well. And distributor O-ring right there, pretty common for this Hondas. Valve cover, spark plug seals replaced, and then distributor. All right, so it's been about 2 minutes now. You can see that it's still good. It's in between 1 and 3. That would be at 13 right there. All right, so confirm this is gonna be a tight seal. So I'm confident to start this engine up and then go for a test drive. But first, we're gonna have to bleed the coolant out. Get this thing to up to temp, and then go for a test drive. Alright, so we'll put this to the right temperature, engine temperature, get the thermostat to open up, blast the heat to 4, and get the airflow to the defrost on the front. It should be getting warmer and warmer. Okay, we'll come back in 15-20 minutes and we'll see how it goes. Alright guys, so it's been running for about 15-20 minutes. Upper rad hose is pretty hot. Same thing on the bottom, it's pretty hot. So let's fill her up, and then we'll put the rad cap after. Everything is good, double check, no leaks on the side and the bottom. Simba. Alright guys, so we've been driving for about almost 5 minutes now. It's right on the temp. Look at the gauge, below half. That's not bad. And right now is probably the outside temperature is probably 4 degrees Celsius out there. So just gonna do a quick little drive again, just make sure this thing is running on the top-notch performance. Just keep an eye on that gauge, temperature gauge. It's really nice temperature today. Wow, last week is like below 0 degrees. It's probably like minus 10 or 15 or something last week. Temperature changed quick, dramatically, just like that here in Saskatchewan. You can see that we still got snow out there. It's melting though, it's melting. So I took a little bit of pictures on the suspension on this Civic. It's a 98. Same thing as a 96 and up. I'm gonna show the pictures to the guy that the CB axle boot, the outer one, is ripped, especially on the passenger side. The driver's side is about to go as well. So just let him know that you should change both of them. Change both at the same time. And valve cover is shot, seals on top of the engine. The distributor is shot as well. Seals, leaking engine oil. Not bad, but there's condensation, there's evidence of leaks. So I don't know, it's up to him. Let him know that he needs those parts to replace. And I can feel the suspension is a little loose on the front end of this thing, so you know, it's better to check, take out the tires and physically check the struts, the bolt joint. I have a feeling that the struts are shot as well, because there's no rebound when I hit potholes or bumps and stuff. It's just loose, it just bump. You know, it's just riding a boat on the ocean. It's just soft suspension. It just goes up and down. So let's head back to the garage here and call the guy that it's done. He can come pick up the car. You can see the temperature on that gauge on the right side. It's steady on the middle, just right below half, and that's what we want. Thermostat is running good. Thermostat is doing its own thing. It opens up, it cools down the coolant. So this is perfect. All right, so this is a fix. Close this video. Thanks for watching, guys, and see you guys again on the next one. Peace.